In this video, we're going to talk about 5 of my favorite automations. So stick around because this is Slacker Labs. What's up everyone? My name is Jeff, and if this is your first time here, at Slacker Labs, we look for ways to automate the boring stuff using smart home tech. According to my automation count sensor in Home Assistant, I currently have over 200 automations. Most of these are just your run-of-the-mill automations. You know, like turn on the living room lights if there's motion, and the light level is below a certain lux value, and the lights aren't already on, and then tweet out that you just turned on the lights. And I like to think that most of them add something that you can't find in other smart home platforms. So I wanted to do a video highlighting just 5 of them. Some of these are provided by add-ons, and some of them I stole from other people. I was inspired by what other people had done in their Home Assistant. And some of them were just things I wanted my smart home to do. This is just going to be a high-level look at these 5 automations, in the hopes that it can inspire your smart home journey. And while I did these in Home Assistant, they do rely on Google routines and APIs, so you could conceivably transfer these to a different smart home platform if you chose. Anyway, let's start with the one automation on this list that I can't take credit for. Carlo over at vCloud Info is one of the people most responsible for the current state of my smart home. Over the past few years, I've used his GitHub repo of his Home Assistant configuration as a smart home idea generator. But one of the things I stole wholesale was his Cuckoo clock. This isn't one of those automations that screams smart home, but having a Cuckoo clock chime throughout the day is a nice touch. It's one of those things that just disappears into the background, which I think is really important when you're talking smart home. I've been using this automation for almost a year now, and the family really likes it. And since it's digital and it uses audio files, you could easily change this chime to whatever you wanted. For example, my son is really into Jurassic Park right now, so for his next birthday, I have the idea of changing the chime to Velociraptor chirps, which I think he'll really get a kick out of. All you need to do to make this automation on your system is a speaker that can play audio files and a way to automate a schedule of playing those files. If you're using Home Assistant, you can just wholesale copy this automation straight from Carlo's GitHub repo. If you're using Home Assistant, then setting all of this up only requires one automation. In fact, you can just copy and paste. There's a link to Carlo's GitHub repo in the description. That link will take you right to this page. Just click Raw and copy all of this code. Then just drop it in your automation.yaml file in your configuration. Then just modify these conditions to match your criteria. Replace any of the media player references with media players in your home. You may want to also update this Play Media section. Carlo has a bit of code here for changing which speaker plays the chimes. I just updated mine to use our main speaker in the living room, but of course you could have this follow you around the house if you would like. Then save, reload your automations, and you'll have a digital cuckoo clock that sounds like this. I haven't quite figured out how to get my Mailbox integrated in Home Assistant, mainly due to the distance. But with a HAX integration, I can get pretty close. The Mail and Packages integration over at the Home Assistant Community Store integrates USPS Informed Delivery, FedEx, and UPS package tracking into Home Assistant. And it uses the email notifications you're already getting, so you don't really have to do a lot of extra work to make this integration happen. I'm not covering how to set up this integration in this video. But if you would like to see a video walkthrough of adding and configuring this integration, let me know in the comments. For this video, I want to focus on the automations. And instead of having a mailbox sensor on our mailbox to let us know when the mailbox door has been opened, I have 2 automations that notify us of incoming mail and packages using this mail and packages integration. The first triggers every day at 10 a.m., and if we've gotten our email from USPS Informed Delivery, that includes a count of the mail we're receiving, then Home Assistant announces how much mail is arriving. The next automation lets us know if a package has been delivered, using the email notifications from FedEx and UPS. This one is extremely useful because the delivery people never seem to ring the doorbell anymore, and who wants to be constantly checking the camera feed to see if that thing you ordered from Amazon has arrived for that video you need this week? Longtime fans of Slacker Labs know my idea of a smart home is not just automating my lights. My smart home needs to have awareness of what's going on outside the home as well. And like most families, we always have something on the calendar. And like most people with busy schedules, we sometimes get busy and lose track of time. So having the smart home remind us of upcoming events has been extremely helpful. So this really is more of an entire collection of automations, but they're all built on the Google Calendar integration, which in my opinion was a bit confusing to get set up, but once I did, it really allowed Home Assistant to get more involved. For example, Home Assistant announces when we have 45 minutes until Skylar needs to be at Jiu-Jitsu, and it can let us know when we need to leave for other events as well. As part of our morning routine, Home Assistant lets us know if it's a school day, based on the calendar before we even get out of bed, and it lets us know when school gets out for the day, so we get an extra reminder just in case it's early release. Which comes in handy because, like I said, sometimes we get busy and lose track of time. And it also means that the house can do special automations for birthdays, holidays, and pretty much anything else you can slap on a calendar. These calendar-based automations really do add a lot to your smart home. This one is essentially our goodnight routine. The main purpose of this automation is simply adjusting the lights in my son's bedroom. And unlike the other automations that we've talked about so far, this one starts with a Google routine. When we say Skylar out to the Google Home in his bedroom, the Google Home responds with Goodnight Skylar, and then kicks off a series of actions. The first action it does is adjust the lighting in his room using a scene I've defined in Home Assistant. This scene ensures his main lighting is off, turns on his LED globe used for a nightlight, and sets the WLED strip under his loft bed to night mode, which dims over a period of time. This scene also turns off the audible notification input boolean, which makes Home Assistant route all audible notifications after that to the kitchen or the master bedroom on the other side of the house, so they don't disturb the kid. And since we can't start Apple Music playlist from Home Assistant, this routine's next action is to play his bedtime music on his Google Home, which is just a playlist of classical music that plays for about 15 minutes. This one isn't groundbreaking by any stretch, but it does allow us to tie some of our other end-of-day tasks to a routine that happens every day, but happens at different times. So it doesn't matter what is happening during the day, the audible notifications is all tied to when people start going to sleep, and my son is usually the first one to go to sleep. So no matter what time he goes to bed, the house gets quiet as soon as he does. And it does highlight a way that you can use Google and Amazon routines to kick off a series of actions that are cross-platform. And the last one on this list is dog mode. If you've seen some of my first Home Assistant content that I put up on the web, you may have already encountered this one. But it rose out of an issue one night when I got up to let the dog out, and I forgot to grab the phone off of the nightstand. So as soon as I opened the back door, the alarm went off. In this house, we don't have a security alarm keypad, which meant I was faced with running across the house to get my phone off of the nightstand so I could disarm the alarm. Whether our Home Assistant-based security system is armed or disarmed is all based on a list of conditions, and all we have to do is go about our day. Home Assistant just takes care of arming and disarming without any input from us. But the problem here was I needed to be able to disarm the security in the middle of the night, at a time when I might not be fully awake and aware enough to grab my phone. So I came up with dog mode. Based on the time and the location of motion sensors turning on in the house, Home Assistant turns on dog mode. When it's on, a certain door is allowed to be opened for a short period of time, like quick enough to let a dog in and out. Then, if all the other conditions are met, then the security alarm automation simply bypasses the trigger. This allows us to not have to worry about disarming the security before we let the dog out in the middle of the night. And at the same time, it means that the whole security system doesn't get disarmed just for one door to be open. This is one of those automations that may only make sense to dog owners. But it's one of my favorite automations because it takes something that would require effort from me, and Home Assistant just handles it. And that's it, 5 of the automations we have running in our smart home. I hope they gave you some ideas of automations you could build in your smart home journey on your way to automating the boring stuff. If you want more details on how I set each one of these up, head over to the link in the description to my blog post over on slackerlabs.com. If you found this video useful, hit that like button, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing to my channel for more smart home content like this. Let me know in the comments what your favorite automation in your smart home is. And of course, if you have any ideas for other videos I should cover, let me know those as well. As always, thanks for taking time out of your home automation projects to watch mine. Until next time, go automate the boring stuff.